this is a 2015 Subaru WRX. A current dash is going to look like this. They have a fairly basic head unit in it, has Bluetooth, so definitely due for an upgrade. So in your WRXs, this is going to be 2012 to I think 2021. They still use this like head unit. You can like check it looks like this. Obviously 3 dials down here and your buttons up here. This is also going to be this same process for the Impreza, the Forester, and the XV. So like those date ranges are about 2013 to 2018, depending on the model. So just check if your head unit looks like this. You're going to have sort of basically panel up top, your 3 dials down the bottom, and a control one in here. So like sometimes this button's like different. It can be a single or double button. Our head unit will fit both as it has like an insert. So this is what you get in your kit here. So we'll start obviously get the head unit to start with. Our full head unit with Facia. On the back here we have our main 20 pin plug. We have a GPS, auxiliary plugs, our Wi-Fi plug, and our FM antenna plug. Then we also have a button insert here. So this like allows it to cover a few different like models of Subaru. So you can change depending on what button, if you got the 2 buttons at the top or just a single one. Then you got your easy adapter kits. So there's 2 in here. So the one that will fit your car will be the only one it is. So these plugs here go into your car side plugs, and like this goes into the back of our head unit. You've got a factory camera. One of these is going to go into our camera in our plug. Wi-Fi antenna, the big rectangle one, our GPS antenna, square one, third USB port, that goes into the auxiliaries, and that's handy to use for a dash cam or a 4G dongle that we sell. Our 2 main USBs and our external microphone if you can use that. Again, that goes into auxiliaries. Our pre-out cable, most people won't need this, but that's if you want to run an aftermarket amp. Auxiliary input, again most people won't need this as well. The camera input cable, so the main one you use here is going to be your purple cam in. This like second one here is for a second camera. USB retention cable to keep the current USB if you have a factory USB. Trim removal tools, a 1080p color reverse camera if you don't have a reverse camera on your model. OBD2 scan tool, and some connectors here to help you hook up the reverse camera. So the first thing you want to do here is pop out by this top dash here. So just like start from the top here. They can be quite like brittle around this like silver area. So if you start from up here, just put your trim like removal tool in here and pop this back and work it around, and then do the other side and it goes red. So then once that's popped out, you can just wiggle it out with your hands. That'll come out. Obviously got a couple plugs in here that have to be removed. So those 2 plugs just came out. Then you just got to push the top down here on here to pull them out. They can be a bit stiff, so you can get the trim removal tool in there and push down and like lever them out. So in here, this is the hardest screw to get to. So we're on the driver's side here. Lift your steering wheel up as high as it goes. And then in here, you can see, hopefully right in the distance here, that's a 10mm nut that we have to get out there. So you can like get it out if you just get your 10mm on an extension. We haven't like yet, but in the future, we'll try and 30cm like flexi extension in there, because if you had like a flexi extension, it'd be very easy to get out. But you can just get a small ratchet and extension with a 10mm on it into there to get that a 10mm one out, and then try to get it out and not drop it down the bottom. Just got one of these on this side too, that are same 8mm bolt you can see. So again, that one there just above the yellow cable there, it's got like an 8 on it to come out as well. Now to get the glove box off, you just have to push in these with your hand on either side and pull it down. So there's one on that side and one over here, and then there's a small little gas strut here that will just pull off at the end of here, and then you can drop your whole glove box down. Then once you got the 2 like side ones out, you got your 2 on the top here that just need to come out, and then we can actually pull this whole thing out. That's 1, 2, 3, 4 10mm screws are out now. Now we can just get our hands on either side here and give us a few tugs. So just get your hands on either side, just give it a few tugs on either side, and you'll see the whole unit will actually come out. Now once it obviously comes out, there's a few plugs we have to undo at the back. So pretty much all the plugs are going to have a clip on them. So just press the clip down and pull all the plugs out. So I pulled the head unit out. So all of these plugs here and the climate control are like a plug you can see over here. So they've all like tabs on the top you have to push down, including this like black one's a little bit hard to get off. It's the little one here. So that has a small tab on the top you need to push down. You can see that silver locking pin going down on it. So those are all our wires in the original unit there. Alright, so we have our fascia here with our head unit, and then you've got like a factory head unit and like the aircon vents at the top. So there's a few things that have to come out. So obviously these like aircon vents need to come out. They've got small little obviously like tabs on them you can see here. So you just need to push it back and pop the tabs at the same time to allow these to pop out. So you got tabs on the top and the bottom. So you just need to go around and unclip all those, and that'll pop out your aircon vents. Then on here you've got your middle buttons here. So this one has the 2 buttons, as you can see here. On here we've got a single button in here, so we just need to unscrew this here and put in our 2 button one. The last thing you have to do is get the climate control out. So you do have to take off the brackets to the side of the like the factory head unit to get to your 4 Phillips screws here, and take that off, and that'll transfer into here. So these are like the factory vents. So you can see 1, 2, 3, 4 clips on them. The best thing to do to get them out of the factory one is push from the front, and then just I use a trim removal tool here to lift up the tabs and go around and push them all up. And obviously once they're out, this is gonna slot into our frame. So just line your clips up. We got 1, 2 down the bottom, 3, 4. Line up the 4 tabs. I'm gonna go and push it down so it all clips in. And what you're looking for is that you have a flush fit at the front there, which you can see we do. And all our controls are working. So that is the 2 air cons in there. Those are in. And we'll put the other sort of double switch in here. So you've got these switches here, which just need to push on either side to push them out. And they're just going to go in the opposite way. They come out, push those in. Again, this one here has 4 clips on it. So again, this one here has 4 bits to pop out. That pops in here. Now be careful, so you can see I actually damaged this bit here. So this top part, because it's probably not so good, it sits in the sun, is super brittle. So you don't actually need it anymore once you've taken it out, because you're going to have it in our unit. But be careful, because it is pretty crap and brittle. So you can see that's all at the top side done. And then you just got your aircon here, goes in the right way up obviously, clips in, and you had your 4 screws to screw it in. So they'll all go in there like so, screw those in, and you can see from the front it all looks good. Now you basically want to get your easy adapter kit and sort of match it with your cable. So there's a couple on the kit, they're only going to plug into where they can plug into, so you can't go too wrong here. You will have some left over, that's all good in our harness because there is different models with different fittings, so that's fine. This one here is just an earth from the car on the factory head unit, isn't actually needed. This is our FM antenna one, FM main antenna. So that's all done here. The only one we haven't done is our USB retention cable, because we didn't have the right one on the kit, but we'll make sure we have the right one on the kit in the future. And we got our aircon down the bottom here, so that's not needed. Then you want to grab this cable here and just check the reverse camera works okay. You want to follow back. There's obviously a 2 in this harness. Go back to the one that is plugged in to a plug. So this one is obviously plugged in here. The other one, its plug wasn't used. That plugs into the purple one like that, and that's like that. And the only other one we'll use here is our dual USBs and this here. Just if your car is using this one here, this plug here, you can see there is the factory microphone. We can retain that, and it actually sounds quite good. So that will clip into here. Now we just want to do a quick test just to make sure everything's working. So this here will go into our one here. Our round AM FM goes into here. So we are basically just checking that it all powers up and we have a reverse camera and sound, etc. And then your main 20-pin plug here is going to go into here. So that's all good. Now it's rest this up on here, like so. And turn the car on, and you want to check your power. It's a bit slow to boot up here because it's the first time it's got power. You can see it's all looking pretty good like factory. So straight away, first thing you want to check radio, scan, turn the volume up, check your volume coming through. So that's fine. Now steering wheel controls on this model here, you need to come into here, wheel key study, and when you press a button on here, so I'm going to press source on the steering wheel, come down here and you can choose what you want that one to do. So mode is source here, obviously volume up, next, back, and you can even choose long clicks to give you some more controls. But for now we'll just do those, check it all works, that's all working fine. And the final thing to check is obviously reverse camera. And that is working, the tailgate's just up, that's why it's pointing at the roof. So that is pretty much all the things you want to check there. But now we can go and put in the rest of the cables. our rectangle one here. So this goes into like the Wi-Fi. So this can just be left like floating around the back. Fine, you can stick it somewhere if you want. It doesn't really matter too much. But in case you want long range, it's like Wi-Fi. So just do that up like hand tight. Like third USB with a pink plug at the end. This plugs into here. One next to it, like there's again, I said there's going to fit where they can fit. If you're like running a like dash cam or like 4G thing, then we just have like our GPS here. So you want to mount this up under here on the plastic, and then it's going to get a clear view of the sky. And obviously that's just going to screw here into our GPS port on this side here. Now that is basically everything all hooked up. Our two USBs are now like mic. We actually are tucked down on the side here, and they've been popped out in here. So that's like a tidy option for you to put them. Our like mic's plugged in, our like reverse camera is like plugged in. That's basically everything. So now you can go through and like tape up these a bit to tidy them up, and the ones you're not like using you can just tape right next to each other, and then we can fit the unit back in. Like hooked up right now, you can obviously tape this to tidy it up a bit. But as you're putting it back in, key things to remember are obviously plug your hazard switch and your control up the top in, and your aircon one back in. So we will do that as we take our wires back in, and we'll plug this back in. So once it's all sitting back up there, just obviously test everything again, reverse, sound, etc. And you just want to go around and push the head unit in. So line up all the clips and push it in, and you'll just feel it will clip all into place. Then obviously your glove box goes back in, and you don't have to worry about those two like 8mm like screws that came out, because you're not like using those of our head unit, so that like saves you a bit of a hassle there. So that's it, set back in just like loosely. Now the good thing now to do is to put out one more test, turn it back on, make sure everything's working okay. Then you should go through and like push it in. So you got to remember there's a few like clips on here. So there's 1, 2 in here, there's some down the bottom, 2 on the side, and other clips up the top. So this one here, it's best to get these 2 middle ones. If you look on the side, you can actually see where they go in. So you just want to make sure you have the 2 middle ones lined up, and you want to then go around and clip them all in. Now you'll notice when you go around, you've got to sort of like bend the bottom up a bit to get the clips to line up, and like the same for the top, and that'll all go back in. So you can see the complete like unit is all in now, looking like flush. So again, pretty much you push on both sides there. It's quite a hard push, so you can give it a good push at the same times on both sides, and you'll pretty much, like I said, the top part will, these two go in, and all the top clips should also go in. And then on the bottom bit here, you just got to sort of bend up, and then on both sides you need to give it a good push. It is a good push, and you'll feel it all click in, and that's in there like super solid now. That's what it looks like. Obviously check all your buttons here work and your aircon works. That's basically it. It's the install done. So once it's installed, there's probably a couple main things you normally do. Obviously, join your phone to the Bluetooth here. Once it's like paired, you'd get a passcode. It is for 4 zeros. We have a whole video how to hook up like this, but this is basically Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. So that'd be connected to like Bluetooth. And if you open up like sort of this, obviously that's like CarPlay now, wireless CarPlay, or wireless Android Auto. If you give your other phone like a little while, if it's like an iPhone, it will say, do you want to use CarPlay with this? You say like yes, and then this is going to pop up. If you have an Android Auto, so an Android phone, just like once you've turned it on to like Bluetooth, just actually turn the head unit off, and also restart your phone, like power phone off and power it back on, and then turn the head unit back on, and let it all hook back up, and you'll probably have to wait about like a minute and a half, and Android Auto will pop up, just because there's a wider range of like Android phones are a bit different. First things again are the steering wheel controls. So for that, if you go into all your apps, down to wheel key, study, and you can teach it be anything you want. So I'll push the back button, and obviously we want the back button to be the back button, and you can have a long press as well. So for example, I could have a long press to take me to the home screen. So you'll for example, you'll see now if I go into something, I push back, it takes me back to there, and if I press and hold that, it takes me to the home screen. So you can like set up these to be whatever you want, and that's how you do that. And then the only other thing we do include is like an OBD2 dongle. So you can pair that, and that will plug down in here above your pedals. I don't know if you can see it in there, but it's just up here. Just put a torch in here so you can see it. So that's like the dongle obviously plugged in there, the Vhedia, you can see. So it just plugs in there. And that allows you to connect to your car's ECU. So you just obviously come in here, you pair to it, it goes green. There's a few apps in here by default. There's Car Scanner and Talk. So for example, we open up Car Scanner here. Again, we have full videos on this, and this is just a quick video at the end of it. Free version. You can go and follow this in. Sometimes it needs a few permissions, so you can just allow that. That's fine. Next. Now the only thing you need to do here is go into settings, connection, Torque again is the same, but a little bit different. Select device, refresh. So come into here, like sometimes you have to close down the app and open it like back up. It's obviously called OBD2. There's some things in there that you can do for different things, but obviously there's a lot these apps can do. Press connect. You can come down and choose your car. So this is a Subaru. So you can just check a couple of these SM2. And you can see that's now connected up. So what will actually happen is if we go into, you can see a lot of different things here, but so obviously like a few different apps you can use, but obviously we're seeing quite a bit of data here. And then obviously you've got your dashboards. You can create custom dashboards to show obviously different information and stuff going on. So you got coolant temp there, a few other things, and then again very handy to obviously check your trouble codes. So you can check if your engine check light comes on, if there's any trouble lights coming up. That is about it on this one. A few obviously tests you can do, acceleration tests and stuff, but that's how you use the OBD scan tool basically. And then the other app you can use is Torque. And again, your data coming through there like that.